This weather scope is sponsored by the 1997 Pontiac Bonneville. Luxury with attitude.
This is a special edition of WeatherScope.
Well, good afternoon to you. Thanks for joining us here at the Weather Channel. I'm Rich Johnson here in our forecast center. We are here covering a mid-Atlantic storm. The storm cruising its way to the northeast, but not a typical nor'easter this time. It is going to move on out, but the damage already has been done in many locations. We do have a bunch of wind and rain in Chesapeake, Virginia. This was the scene earlier today. Many of you had your umbrellas up as you tried to make your way through the rain. Winds gusted upwards of 40 miles per hour in the area, and you can expect that continuing for the rest of this afternoon. Not only did we have wind, we had a bunch of rain, and travel was just a little bit rough out there due to the storm. We should see the wind shift around in drier conditions as this low makes its way away, as opposed to hugging the coast and heading up across New England. That is good news for you in Boston and actually farther to the inland areas. This is a yucky day today. We have mid-30s. Wind chills are anywhere from 7 to about 15 degrees in Philadelphia. So it feels like it needs to snow out there, but it is just plenty of cold rain. We do have marine advisories up, also coastal flood warnings from Ocracoke Inlet all the way up to Manasquan, and north of that, Sandy Hook. That is where we are looking at the coastal flood watch. So we have a variety of different things going on. The main part of the storm, of course, is all of the wind and the rain now. Well, joining me right now, Buzz Bernard. He's a meteorologist here. Buzz, what do we have going on with the storm? We appear to be shifting emphasis now.
Yeah, the early emphasis, of course, yesterday and much of last night was on the tremendous snows they had up there in the Appalachian Mountains, anywhere from 15 to 30 inches, and of course Beech Mountain, North Carolina, 40 inches, remarkable. But that snow is winding down now. Now we're looking at a terrific pounding of wind, wave, and rain along the mid-Atlantic coast.
Okay, our satellite photograph right here, show us where the center of this storm is now and where it's going for the rest of today.
Well, it looks like we're moving just offshore of the Virginia Capes or eastern North Carolina there. You can see a nice circulation or spin around the center of the lowest pressure there. And as you mentioned, seems to be heading more off in this direction than up toward New England.
Okay, here's the big picture of the radar. Essentially, New York is the northern fringe. The heaviest of the precipitation is into Delaware and Maryland.
Right, you can see the axis of the heaviest with the yellow colors right across there. Note that the northern edge doesn't seem to be making any progress to the north. As a matter of fact, back here it's shrinking a little bit, indicating that the storm is beginning to move off to the east.
What kind of rain totals have we seen in this area?
Well, we've seen around 2 to 3 inches at many spots. I mean, it's really been coming down, and that storm has had a history all the way up the coast of dumping rains like that, and it hasn't stopped.
Okay, that's the amount of rain. What about coastal erosion?
Coastal erosion, we're looking at tides running 2 to 4 feet above normal with the tremendous onshore winds. We've been getting gusts up to 50, 60 miles per hour, and the buoy off the Delaware coast is still indicating gusts up to around 60 miles per hour.
Okay, let's take a look at some of the scenes of snow this time. We'll take you into North Carolina, and this is Haywood County. We're essentially talking about the Asheville area, and we were looking at a backed up roadway. In fact, 2 feet of snow in western North Carolina made I-40 a big problem here. The governor declared a state of emergency for the area yesterday, and the National Guard was called to help out. And surely there are some big totals from the storm. Buzz, as you mentioned, 40 inches at Beech Mountain, Flat Top Mountain 30, that was in West Virginia. So plenty of snow, but fortunately that is about done with the snow here.
Yeah, the snow's winding down now, maybe an inch or so at a few spots up in the mountains there, but really the wind, the big story now is the wind and the rain.
Okay, thank you, Buzz. Again, Buzz Bernard, meteorologist here at the Weather Channel, helps us out with our mid-Atlantic storm. Well, if you're going to be away from the TV and you want more information about the storm, you can check it out at weather.com. There's more going on around the country with the rest of the nation's weather and your forecast. Let's head back in the studio.
To the west, heavy rain and strong winds are poised offshore. The storm is set to strike western portions of Washington and Oregon tonight. Big story we're watching today, rain and wind in the middle Atlantic, and we'll be back with that in just a minute. But on the current weather map, we've got ourselves a lot of fog, and just looking at places like Cedar Rapids and and Dubuque in Iowa. The yellow on the map indicates the fog in your area. Even on into Minnesota around Rochester, this fog really slow to burn off. Usually the afternoon hours goes away, but it's hanging in there for dear life today. This orange area in Minnesota indicates a little bit of freezing rain around Redwood Falls, but a little milder actually to the west and South Dakota, so it's just liquid rain with temperatures in the 30s. Of course, this is our big weather problem, and it's windy in the southeast and a little bit chilly today. Near freezing in parts of the southeast. Of course, in North Carolina, what we're seeing here is clouds, and there's a lot of snow in those mountains too, but the snow didn't get into Georgia or Alabama, so you're getting a chance to pick up into the 50s, maybe even 60 today. Gorgeous weather back to Arkansas and into Dallas, Texas. But here's your problem area in the upper Midwest as we look at our radar and satellite combined. Mostly aloft, could be some drizzle out of this, but nothing falling right now, at least on the observations in